I moved back east, where I was luckily moving in with my bride, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
And my jobs at that time was I was singing in pubs up and down the main street of Alexandria, and I also was working as a typist for A.T. Kearney, which is a consulting firm. And we were doing fascinating work on the revenue adequacy of the Burlington Northern Railroad. And if any of you want to talk about that later on during the Q&A, fascinating stuff. Anyway, the guy who had hired me, because I'm the best typist in this room, and I'm a very, very good typist, really, true, because that's what I was making my daytime job doing. This guy comes into me and he goes, "John, I'm reading your resume and it appears to me like you've published a novel." And I said, "That's correct, I published a novel." He goes, "That's fantastic, because you know what we're doing with the Burlington Northern Railroad right now?" I said, "Not really, but I'm interested." He goes, "Well, we got a filing with the ICC in 2 weeks, and we don't have any narrative." And I said, "I'm the narrative guy, dude." He said, "We don't have any narrative to hold this all together. We got a bunch of data, but no narrative." And I said, "Uh-huh." He goes, "What if I tell you about what we're trying to do and you write it up?" I said, "I write up the, how big a thing is this?" He says, "It's a $42 million lawsuit." So he told me what to do over the weekend. He said, "Here's what you want to look for, write it up if you don't mind." I wrote a 400-page brief in 1 week. And we won the $42 million case. And then the worst thing happened. He offered to hire me full-time. He offered, I'm going to drop a dollar figure here. This is in 1982 or 3. He offered me $60,000 a year, which I had never made in all my life or even thought I'd ever make, to write more of these incredibly fascinating things. Oh, I'm sorry. That sweet just a minute. Anyway, I did that for about 1.5 years, and then I was really suicidal. And I said to my darling bride, "I really want to be a writer. I don't want to be a technical writer. I want to be a fiction writer. What am I going to do?" And she said, "Why don't you take that book you wrote when you were 23 about Nero Wolfe and Sherlock Holmes and try to get it published?" And I said, "Lisa, that's a mystery. I am a serious literary prize-winning author." She goes, "I thought the book was great. I thought that book was great. Really readable, really fun, none of that narrative voice madness. Pretty good." So I said, "Okay, well, why don't we just quit all the day jobs and go to Europe together," which we did. We were gone for about 6 or 7 months. We came back to the United States. The day we got in, her sister met us at the airport and told me I had 2 hardcover deals offers for my book that I had written when I was 23 fucking years old. I got an agent. My agent actually charged me more money than the offers. And of course, because I'm a brilliant businessman, I took it. But I had my first hardcover deal, and my publisher, Donald I. Fine, offered me another book deal for a sequel. So since both of these were kind of technically Sherlock Holmes novels, what we had to do was get Sherlock Holmes permission, the Holmes estate permission to publish these novels. They were charging at that time $50, $50. This was evidently too big a nut for my publisher to make. So he didn't do it. And so when the book came out, I got a cease and desist order from the Holmes estate saying you can't publish this because you haven't paid the fee. I said, "Great, so what am I going to do now?" By now, I've moved to Los Angeles. Lisa and I have had a couple of kids. I said, "Well, I'm just going to write a different kind of a book. And by the way, I'm going to write a book about like the guy in San Francisco, no more European stuff, no more World War I and II, no historical stuff. I'm going to write about a real guy named Dismas Hart." So I decided to write kind of a serious mystery novel. Although I didn't know it was a mystery, I thought it was like a real novel. These books, by the way, when I'm saying I'm getting published in New York, the amounts of money being paid were about $1,000 a book. And we all know how the book business works enough that if you get a deal in the book business, let's say any deal, but let's say a $10,000 deal, it usually gets, the payment of that is in 5 steps. The first step is when you sell the book to the publisher. The second time is when you hand in the finished manuscript. Then the third part of the payment, $2,000 more, is when the book is published. The fourth part of the book is when it comes out in paperback. And the fifth part of the payment is when it's colonized on the moon. Meanwhile, I'm going to work for a law firm in Los Angeles. So my daily job was to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, write my 3 pages of my Dismas Hardy new novel, go to work from 8 to 5, get done at work at 5, go around the big law firms in LA and do typing work piecemeal until 11 o'clock at night. I did that for a really fun 6 years. At the end of that 6-year time, I wasn't planning it on being the end of the 6-year time, but I went body surfing at Seal Beach. And the next day I woke up and I had an earache. I didn't feel very good. So I said, oh, well, I'm not going to worry too much about it. But by later that evening, I was having hallucinations and I was very, very sick. I had a fever of 105. So Lisa packed up our 2 kids, our 19-month-old and our 5-month-old, and she took me to the emergency room where they told her, go get somebody to take care of your kids because John's going to be dead in 2 hours. And it turns out I had spinal meningitis.
Oh my God.
And I was in a coma for the next 11 days. So when I came out of that coma at the age of 41, 2 kids, really not very successful, I decided, okay, we're going to quit doing the day jobs entirely, going to go for it full time. At that time I had a real writer's revelation because it turns out I didn't understand the idea up to this point that you wanted to write a book with a plot and an interesting story, but you also wanted to have literary elements such as good writing, good stuff going on among the characters. They weren't necessarily, it wasn't a dichotomy to try to write a mystery novel that was also a literary novel. So I wrote, I moved up to the Bay Area, well actually Davis, where I live now. I had a wonderful time over a 4 or 5 months period of time watching my 2 children and celebrating my being alive. And I decided to write the first of my legal thrillers. And the reason I did is because it was a bigger canvas. It really gave me an opportunity to stretch out, and I had nothing to lose because my books were not doing well. This was just about the time of the original Not-So-Convention story. So anyway, I finished my first book, Hard Evidence. My publisher, Donald I. Fine, if I haven't mentioned his name before, did not pay me for the book. I got the manuscript to him in plenty of time. He didn't even pay me the new pittance that he was paying me. But then suddenly one day I was sitting at my desk and I got a call from him. All of a sudden he's my friend. And I had gotten a $130,000 offer from a German publisher to publish my book. And the next day I got a $60,000 offer from Japan to publish my book. At that point, Donald I. Fine decided that maybe he'd keep me around. And so I wrote a book called The 13th Juror. It was a bigger book, again. It was a big legal thriller. I'm not a lawyer, by the way. Never been to law school. Don't know anything about the law, even today. I finished my books, and the first person I would give to my books to was my good friend from high school, Al Giannini, who is a lawyer. And fortunately is a homicide prosecutor in San Francisco and in Redwood City. So he reads my books before anybody else, and then they're legally vetted. So anyway, I get through with all this stuff. I do the 13th Juror, and the 13th Juror comes out and becomes a big international bestseller. Sells 4 million copies. It's on the bestseller list for the last 7 months. And after that, everyone's been bestseller, and God bless you all for being here.